Do it.
Are we having fun yet?
So, the Spurs are interested in Sabonis and Myles Turner. Makes complete sense. Complete sense. But before we talk about that really quickly, if you guys want to support the channel, it's only $2 a month for Patreon and YouTube members. This is the trivia prize for the month, so I will send out a link to Patreon and YouTube members at the end of the month, last Friday of the month, in which we will compete for this Tim Duncan plaque. And yeah, I will live stream it. It should be a lot of fun. But if you guys want to just support the channel out of the goodness of your heart, like I said, it's only a couple dollars. I'm not asking for too much, okay? Just help a brother out. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about this. So apparently, the San Antonio Spurs are interested in Sabonis and Turner. Now, I don't know how you feel about this source. He is verified. I've seen some stuff from him before, and he's accurate most of the time, but you know, it's iffy. Okay, it's iffy. All right, it's really iffy. So if you see here, he says the Spurs have interest in both bigs. Sabonis and Turner have discussed multiple frameworks with Indiana, but nothing imminent right now. Just another team to watch ahead of the deadline. So this makes complete sense from both standpoints, from the Pacers and the San Antonio Spurs. Honestly, I think that this will give us a lot of more room going forward if the Spurs did go ahead and go for Sabonis or even Turner, because at the end of the day, this is an elite talent right here. Like we're talking potential superstar, and if you can grab him, then going into the draft, you can come into the draft with a completely different objective. He's young, he's versatile, and yeah, he's a guy that is a hot commodity that a lot of teams want. Also, if you're talking about Myles Turner is an elite defender. So if you want to try to give up Jakob and, you know, get Myles Turner, and then you even have even more room to work with from there, where you can just go into the draft and say, hey, I'm just going to get a guy that's, you know, better offensively, or hey, I'm just going to go after Ayton, and you'll be completely fine defensively. So either one works. And I could completely see the Spurs going for that. Now, if you're looking at the Pacers standpoint, it kind of seems like I'm not crazy about the Pacers, okay? It's not like I know every single thing about the Pacers, but just from afar, me looking in, it seems like the Pacers are really trying to kind of clear the deck to the point where they're willing to get rid of just about anybody. If you remember Sabonis, they were trying to hunt for people to get Sabonis for a while, so that's nothing new. And then Myles Turner, they've also tried to trade him previously as well. So just going forward with them, it seems as if, yeah, they're just trying to do a full-on rebuild, and we are also doing that, so it works for both teams. But if you guys recall, this is just like a day ago, that the Pacers traded Caris LeVert, I hope I'm saying that right, I always say it wrong, but to the Cavaliers for Ricky Rubio, a first-round pick and 2 second-round picks. Now, Ricky Rubio, I think he's on an expiring contract, so they just kind of took that. But with that being said, yeah, they're definitely trying to do a full-on rebuild and trying to build their team back up. If you're looking at money-wise, because some people might say, well, what about the money? This is nothing. Like, they are playing far over their contracts. Like, for what you'll be getting for a Myles Turner or Sabonis, they're playing way over their contracts. Now, the good thing about us is, yeah, we got a lot of cap space, but also we have a lot of guys that's playing over their contracts, or at least quite a few. I would say that Jakob, $8 million, that is crazy. Like, he is way more valuable to us than that. Zach Collins going forward, I think that he will outplay this contract. I'm hoping. Lonnie Walker, is slightly, but definitely Derek White and DeJounte Murray are outplaying their contracts. Like, I don't think anyone should really dispute that. So with that being said, it makes complete sense from the Pacers standpoint to go ahead and do it. Now, here's the question. Are the Spurs going to do something? Because I've come to the realization that over the last few years, especially, that the Spurs don't make a lot of moves, okay? They just don't. They rarely make a lot of moves as far as trades. They're very conservative in that standpoint. But at the same time, this is new territory. This is a completely different situation that we find ourselves in. And when you're dealing with Brian Wright, I don't know. We don't know how Brian Wright is like exactly as a GM. As it stands right now, he's been pretty aggressive. He's done things that we didn't really necessarily expect. I mean, especially the Bryn Forbes trade. Like, no one really saw that coming. We just assumed, oh, he's just going to play out, you know, his contract with us this season. But they said, no, we're going to try to make this team better the best we can. And yeah, even going after Josh Primo was something that we did not expect. In the past, the Spurs have always had diamonds in the rough, but going after Josh Primo was just out of nowhere. Most people didn't even know who he was. I didn't know who he was. So that was a really a big gamble. But with that being said, I could definitely see the Spurs just saying, screw it. Let's go all in on this and let's see what happens. Now, looking at the Twitter comments and how, some people are reacting to it, I did find this one interesting. The first one that's actually up here got the most votes. He said, White, Young, Walker, and 2 firsts should get it done. I don't agree with that. I don't think that Young, Walker, White will get it done. They're probably going to, first picks. I could definitely see that. All right, definitely see that. But when you start talking about like, oh yeah, they'll just take White, Young, and I don't know. Maybe Walker, they're kind of trying to go through a rebuild, but I do not see that happening whatsoever, where they're just like, oh yeah, we'll just take that on. But hey, anything's possible. Anything can happen. I really want to know how you guys feel about it, because don't get me wrong, I love Sabonis, all right? I was just not crazy about giving up so much in this previous season that a lot of people were talking about, the season before this one. And I was like, I don't know yet. But now looking at this team, I think that it's more than enough time for the Spurs to go ahead and make a decision on whether or not this team is going to work. And honestly, I think that, you have room to get rid of certain players. I'm not a proponent of just saying, oh, yes, just clear the deck necessarily. But when I'm looking at, the way that we're playing right now, they play with a lot of heart. They play with a lot of passion, but some of our players just aren't. They're just not good enough. And if we're talking about we want to be back in the conversation of the playoffs and we want to be competing as soon as possible, well, you got to do it now. You're going to have to clear some of these players out now for you to open up that possibility. Now, Josh Primo, I truly, and this might be crazy, people might say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, but I truly do believe this. I think Josh Primo is one of those players that will be beneficial in saving the franchise. Like, I really do believe that he will be the pinnacle of our success. I truly do believe that. But with that being said, he's going to have players around him. He's going to have certain star power around him that's not necessarily a guard. They're going to have to be a big man, a forward, or a center. And going into the direction we're going in right now, Zach Collins has the potential to be an all-star talent. We all know this. I think the league knew this. It's just he couldn't stay healthy. And then if you take Sabonis and put him on the roster, now we're looking like, okay, we can kind of grow from here. We can have some players that are legitimate all-star / star players. Right now, what we're seeing is just, honestly, just a good product of Spurs drafting. Like, we're not necessarily seeing stars on the team. Now DeJounte Murray, I think all of us would probably agree, oh yeah, he's like an all-star. But everyone else is just kind of like, no, they're a good product of our system. Their success as far as what our system can do and what the Spurs are really good at, as far as drafting, that they'll even have like a permanent good job on the San Antonio Spurs. Like Lonnie Walker, for instance, like diamond in the rough. Derek White, diamond in the rough. Excuse me. Keldon Johnson, right? Kind of diamond in the rough. I think a lot of people expect him to be pretty good. Trey Jones, like, these are players that are very good, but they're only good if you already have a few stars ahead of them. And that's not necessarily the case that we have right now. So that's just my thoughts on it. Look, go for it. Do whatever you can to make it happen. Obviously, I think the Pacers are going to try to bid high. I mean, we're talking Sabonis here. Good teammate, that from what I've seen. Very good talent. Star talent in the league going forward. So they're going to ask for quite a bit. But with that being said, I could definitely see us doing it. We have all of the available picks. We have all the available players to kind of make a trade happen. It's just whether or not our boy Brian Wright will want to take that, not necessarily risk, but just take that leap. And we'll just see what happens. But you guys let me know how you feel about it. I didn't have a lot of thoughts on it. Just that, hey, this is good news that the Spurs are still inquiring about it. But yeah, you guys let me know what you think. And if you want to support the channel, like I always say, Patreon, YouTube members, it's only $2 a month. $2 a month. Oh my God, I cannot speak. I'm sorry, guys. I'm recording this pretty early, but I'll get with you guys later. Till next time, deuces.